Hey, friendo, Steve here.
L. Larson.
And hot and fresh, just like the cinnamon roll that Larson dropped off on that Mother's Day plate on my porch today. Man, thanks again for that, dude.
You got it, man. Hey, I knew you had a low-key day today. I don't want you to miss out on brunch goodness.
Oh, man.
So we had a lot of
Brunch
leftovers.
greatness.
I brought it over.
I appreciate it. Anyways, along with these hot, fresh brunch goodness, we've got some hot, fresh star ratings for you already for Backlash. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Larson, which match are we going to start with?
Let's do the first match of the card. That was the U.S. Championship Fatal 4-Way match. Yeah, Jacob Fatu defending against L.A. Knight, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. What'd you give this one, Steve?
I gave this 3.5 stars. I thought it was a really, really, really fun, entertaining match. Drew and Damian sort of taking themselves out as a story beat as opposed to continuing on to try to get the main prize in the match. I think took a little bit away from it. You know, like I understand what they're doing. They got to protect everybody involved. And, you know, that was a big spot that they did. But in that respect, it kind of felt a little bit like a Monday Night Raw match, not necessarily a pay-per-view match. But there was some really good wrestling on it. Not a lot to complain about, so I gave it 3.5 stars.
I'm not too far off. I went 3 3/4. This match was quite a bit of fun. You know, coming out of it, though, you worry about Drew, given the fall he took. Hopefully he's all right. We got the debut of Jeff Cobb. That's always exciting because Jeff Cobb is great.
Yeah. Fatu's reaction to Cobb was great,
too. Fantastic. So, like, if this was a SmackDown main event, I'd be like, wow, what a great match.
Right, yeah.
You know, as an opener for a pay-per-view, it's very, very good 3 3/4.
Yeah, I don't know why I said a Raw match. I meant SmackDown, yeah.
You meant a TV match. I get it.
TV match.
Let's move on to the match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch. Defended that title successfully. In terms of in-ring wrestling, this was by far the best match of the night, and it's not even really close. They did a lot of really good technical stuff early. There was a lot of good twists and turns in terms of who had the advantage. You had the story of Becky seemingly trying to remember how to be a heel again and wrestle like a heel and cheat, and kind of coming up short in that respect. Lyra kicking out a couple manhandle slams. It was a great showing for Lyra Valkyria. This feud has been really good, and through the last few weeks, it's given Lyra a real opportunity to showcase who she is as a character. We know she's a fantastic wrestler, and she displayed that at Backlash even more, but giving her an opportunity to showcase who she is as a character, I think has done her a lot of good. Hopefully this feud continues, because I think there's a lot more they can do here. This match was great. I gave it 4.5 stars.
I went a little bit higher. I went 4 3/4 because of everything you just said, and I do agree. I think they've just sort of, with how good this has been already, I feel like they've just scratched the surface. You know, I don't know. Well, I'll say this. I don't know what's next. You got to think they might have some stipulation matches next. Add Bayley to the equation. I don't know. But talk about a match that really did so much with one match for Lyra Valkyria specifically, and also on top of that for Becky Lynch. You know, the big question is, for somebody who's done it all in the women's division, what can they drum up for her in terms of stories? Well, we've got a killer one on our hands, and we had a killer match to go with it. So yeah, this was my highest star rated match of the night. Gave it 4 3/4 stars.
Yeah, fantastic bout. Let's move on to the Men's Intercontinental Championship match. Penta challenging unsuccessfully for that title against Dominic Mysterio. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was fine. I thought they did the stuff that we normally see. Again, this match probably would have been right at home on Monday Night Raw. It had the typical Judgment Day stuff kind of forwarded. I don't even know if you can say it forwarded, but in terms of the Finn Balor being, it sort of hit similar beats that we've already seen.
Yeah, we know Finn's
even including El Grande Americano. So, like, not a lot more here. The wrestling was solid, entertaining stuff. Dom hit an oblivion. That was cool. I gave it 3 stars.
You know, as a match to kick off the third hour of Raw, this has been really good.
Yeah.
Solid pay-per-view match. I, too, gave it 3 stars. Wrestling was fine. Did it really advance anything? Not much. Solid bout, though. It was good.
I get maybe like an extra half star that I gave this for Penta's outfit.
It's great.
So much blue.
Yeah.
Lots of blue.
Dom's outfit was great, too.
It was.
Pat McAfee challenging Gunther.
Gunther.
Not for a title, just challenging him.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, for pride, for Michael Cole.
Yeah.
The honor of his friend, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So in terms of a wrestling match, this was just kind of all right.
Yeah.
But it got by, I feel like, a lot because you could tell Gunther was really having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell he was enjoying himself. And maybe, you know, like us as outside observers of the sport of pro wrestling are looking at this matchup and it's like, like in terms of what the match is going to be, it doesn't seem like on paper it's going to do a whole lot. But maybe from Gunther's perspective, this is a situation where it's like, I don't have to go out there and have the pressure of putting on a 5-star banger. I can just go out there and have fun. And that was on full display. I gave it 3 stars. It was entertaining, but as a wrestling match, it was just kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's difficult to look at this through the lens of a wrestling match because Pat isn't a wrestler week to week, full time. Last time he had a match, I think, was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. So you can't really look at it through that lens. So I looked at it through entertainment value, and I thought this provided tons of that. I thought that the match, in terms of like Gunther never should have been in danger in this match, and he never was in danger in this match. And I thought that they executed this as a story beat really, really well as a way for Gunther to establish. I mean, you and I talked about this on the podcast last night. Did this really do anything for Gunther? Maybe not, but as a character, I thought that it was not an uninteresting character moment for him and for Pat McAfee, who did a terrific job selling. I actually gave this 3.5 stars because, number one, it wildly exceeded my expectations. Number two, it captivated me. I was interested. I was, more importantly, entertained by the entire thing. I thought Michael Cole doing his bit as well was good. And as somebody noted over at my Wrestle Juice Hot Takes video, this is the first time maybe in wrestling history that somebody held the leg down and they still kicked out.
Yeah.
And so I got to give it credit for that. I was really entertained by this match, and after further reflection, I was like, you know what? This was fun as a story beat. It was entertaining as a story beat. Was it quote-unquote necessary? Maybe not, but not everything has to be necessary in order to be entertaining.
I might give it a higher score if Pat hadn't fought out of that sleeper before he eventually passed out.
I thought that was the one. It was like that was the one misstep. But otherwise, you know, I don't even know how long this match was. But other than that, this match was kind of put together and it was kind of put together perfectly, except for that one moment where it was like, he shouldn't be hulking out. Pat should not be hulking out. But you know, you got to give people a hope spot.
I guess so. Finally, main event: Randall Keith Orton versus John Felix Anthony Cena for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Steve, what'd you give this one?
Man, if John Cena's out there trying to ruin wrestling, he didn't accomplish it with this match because I thought this was entertaining as all hell. I was hooping and hollering during this match. All the procession of RKOs to the, as somebody in my Wrestle Juice said, the cruiserweight division. We had Helms there. We had Daivari there. We had, whatever. And of course, Aldis, which might end up setting up an Aldis match with Orton.
I hope so.
Which would be great. I think a lot of people would love to see that. I gave this 4.5 stars.
Wow.
This was fucking entertaining as hell. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for. And on top of that, I sort of add in the stuff after the credits rolled with John Cena's performance as a character. And from beginning to end, this was what the heel Cena run should be. If you want to leave a lasting legacy in terms of, hey, this is fondly remembered. Mm-hmm. This was really cool. And I think we got really the first good indication of what this is going to be going forward. I love this match. I thought it was tons of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I didn't go quite that high. I went 3 3/4. I thought it was really, really good. Way more entertaining than I was expecting. My expectations for this match were not high given what we saw at WrestleMania 41.
Yeah.
And even just the first half of this match, which was a pretty standard wrestling bout, was executed pretty well. They took some standard wrestling tropes, kind of poked fun at them. And the second half, with all the ref bumps, all the wild overbooking, all the RKOs to all the producers, was really, really fun. And I feel like at this point, granted the sample size is still relatively small with 2 matches, I think we get a good idea of how John Cena is going to win his matches during his heel run. Low blow, shot from the title. Yeah, this was way better than the WrestleMania match. I can't wait to hear about why the WrestleMania match was so bad and this one was so entertaining. That's gonna be interesting when whoever writes the book explains that story.
John Cena will talk about it.
Probably.
I think I'll put it this way. By this time next year, we'll have that story from John Cena himself. I can almost get they don't. Hey, let me ask you something.
Sure.
So, like, I think it's been rumored or announced or something like that they're going to do Cena's last match in December at TD Garden.
Yeah, in Boston, yeah.
Okay, yeah, right. Undertaker had a whole documentary series.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they have cameras rolling right now documenting every single thing, which they will release probably within 6 months of his career wrapping up?
It's entirely possible.
I can see that happening, and it wouldn't shock me if he was incredibly frank about the Mania match.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. No.
Anyways, so yeah, but we want to know your guys' star ratings. Get them hot and fresh in the comments below. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.